Welcome back to Bourbon on the Brain, and today we're taking a look at Pinhook 4-year vertical series. So I've done a couple of reviews on a couple of the other bottles for the vertical series. I don't remember if I've released them yet, but I have the 4 through 8 at this point. If you're unfamiliar with what the vertical series is, what it is Pinhook decided to do an experiment. And they sourced MGP bourbon from Indiana and aged it. And they aged it for 4 years, and then they progressively started releasing them at the 4-year. They took that same batch and aged it 5 years, 6 years, all the way through 10 year. And each year they're releasing the next year. I think right now we just got number 9. And then next year will be 10, which I believe will conclude the experiment. So I have the 4-year. I haven't opened it yet. Usually I open my bottles first and try them before we get to the reviews. But today we're going to be trying something a little bit different, which also means I don't have tasting notes prepared. And so we're just going to be doing this live. So without further ado, let's take a look. Now, you might notice some noises in the background. It is currently raining at my house. It's also 9 in the morning, which means that the dogs are probably going to be a little bit active, so bear with me. Love that pull. So we'll give it a little spin, let it sit for a minute. So a little summary of Pinhook. What is Pinhook? So Pinhook itself, it doesn't really have a home. There's no distillery that is Pinhook. Pinhook distills and does its aging at Castle and Key. If you're familiar with Castle and Key is it's a craft distillery in Kentucky. It's located in this beautiful old building. If you're familiar with E.H. Taylor, it was the original E.H. Taylor distillery from the late 1800s. I happened to go there to visit once, and it's beautiful. It looks like a castle. It's a stunning distillery. The bourbon, we're getting there. But the distillery itself is beautiful. So let's take a look. Very fruity on the nose. A little methanol, a little alcohol. Pleasant nose. So I believe this is a 98 proof. Yeah, it's 98 proof. Very easy drinker. It's a little bit sharp, you know, it shows that it's a 4-year. So it's got sort of a medium finish, kind of a throaty finish, but it's got some good viscosity. It sits very nicely on the tongue. It's got a little bit of a fruity, alcohol-y taste. It's very pleasant. It's smooth, but I mean, it definitely does burn going down. It's good. If this was something that was just put out as a 4-year bourbon, I would still probably go out and buy it, but it definitely needs a little bit more time to age. It's an enjoyable bourbon. Here's my thing. I really like Pinhook. I think their collaboration series are good. The quality is really good. I think this is a fascinating experiment because it speaks to what is bourbon. So much of bourbon is MGP nowadays. It's just mass produced. Usually it's Dickel or someplace in Indiana that produces just massive amounts of very, very basic level bourbon. And then distilleries take that and they barrel finish it. They age it. They put their own finishing touch on it. What's fascinating about this is bourbon in its truest form, just general mass produced bourbon. Pinhook is taking it and saying, what does it do if you don't finish it? All you do is just age it the appropriate amount of years and work its way up. What is purely just aging do to the impact of the taste? And I find that to be fascinating. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be doing a review for each of these. as they come out. And then I'm going to be reviewing them all together on a panel. My dad and I will do that. And we're going to see, we're going to compare. Now, there's going to be plenty of people out there that are going to do this. It's a very highly anticipated series, and I know a lot of people are very interested in understanding the development of how bourbon ages in this sort of consumer market. But for me, really what it boils down to is the cost of bourbon, because even though this is a highly anticipated release, Pinhook is staying true to how much they think that it should be costing. So each of these bottles is available someplace in the ballpark of about $75, give or take. And while they are technically all limited releases, you can pretty much get them for less than $120 at various third-party places. And if you're somebody that really enjoys bourbon and enjoys the philosophy of bourbon and the structure of it and the science behind it, this is a really cool thing to have. Now, in terms of the bottle itself, one thing that they've done, which is really fascinating, is the actual bottle itself is the exact same. The logo is the exact same. They all look the same for all of their bottles. But the design, this white and almost gold design that they have on the front, that changes for each of the bottles. So when you put all of the bottles next to each other, they look the same, but slightly different. And so it sort of, when you line them all up, it has this sort of cool visual effect, which I think is a very nice touch. Not a reason to buy it, but just for me, it's something that I enjoy, that, and somebody paid attention to the details and said, we don't want these all to be the same. We just want them to look very similar so they look like they match, which is just a cool visual for me. So, should you buy it? It's a tough question to answer. I think for $50, if you can get it for $50, definitely. For me, I bought it because I want to try it. It's definitely something enjoyable. It's one of those bourbons where at 98 proof, you can drink it neat. You can put it with a cube. You can mix with it. In fact, I have the 6-year open right now. My dad and I made some drinks on Sunday with the 6-year, and it mixed beautifully. And so it's good quality. The MGP that they're sourcing is good quality. What they're doing to it, the age statements, it's good quality. And so I would definitely recommend trying it. That being said, if it were me, I'd probably hold out for some of the later years, because that extra aging is really going to increase the flavor profile. But that's just for me. So, that's more or less kind of it. The other really fun thing about the vertical series is that in Pinhook in general, if you go onto their website, what they do is each of their bottle series follows a horse that is on the pro circuit. So Kentucky Derby, Belmont Stakes. So for the vertical series, they have a horse called Bourbon War, and you can get the information on it. So the horse was born in 2019. He's 16 hands. Looks like, if I had to guess, he's a bay. I'm guessing that's what the B stands for. So not 100% sure on that, but they have little profiles on their website for each of the horses that associate with each of the series that they release. So just kind of a cool thing that they do. Horsemanship is very ingrained in Kentucky, so it's a very synchronistic thing that they're doing. But that's pretty much it. Stay tuned for the next video that I put out, which will probably be the 5-year. But as always, enjoy, drink safely, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.